Hello everyone, welcome to Keen here and welcome to this, the very final collection update video, I'd imagine anyway, of 2021. More than likely the final one before Christmas anyway. And the next collection update video, I'd imagine, or I suppose, will probably be going through all the bits and pieces that I picked up underneath the Christmas tree this year, which, who knows, I might maybe didn't get anything for Christmas this year, maybe it'll be a very short video perhaps. Only time will tell, the jury's still out with that. But in terms of this video, I'm going to get the ball rolling with three records by Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan, in terms of this channel anyway, it's kind of like buses really. I don't feature anything by him at all. And then all of a sudden there's three of his albums show up all at once. And this really started off with watching a video here on YouTube on the Deagostini Beatles vinyl collection. And I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description if you want to check this video out. Well, Deagostini, for those who are unaware, they're effectively a magazine publishing company, and they don't always put out stuff that's music related or record related or anything like that. They put out just general stuff really, other things and other topics and that kind of thing. But of recent years, they've been dabbling now and again in vinyl, and they did a jazz collection, and then they moved on to a Beatles collection a few years later. And yeah, I was taken in like a lot of people were by this collection. Obviously it was very popular at the time, and it was a lot of attention on it because it's on the Beatles, and there was a lot of interest surrounding it. What the albums sound like, what versions they use, and all that kind of fine details that a lot of Beatles fans seem to find so fascinating, and myself included. In all honesty. And yeah, I bought a few of these records. I didn't subscribe or anything like that, but I did get my hands on a few, and it kind of rekindled my memory really of this collection that Deagostini ran a few, more than a few years ago now. And anyway, at the end of, and I was kind of, just to cut a long story short, I was pretty pleased with, the Deagostini collection. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was terrible either. I thought it was a fairly affordable, although far from being cheap, should I say, way of acquiring, Beatles albums on vinyl that were fairly decent in quality. Generally speaking, I did hear horror stories about messed up records or records not showing up even, and they go through all the good and bad points, in the video, which I will try to leave, a link to in the description. Well, anyway, I thought it was just generally, for me personally, I thought it was fine. It did enough, and it did enough right really for me not to be against it or negative towards or have negative memories of it or any of that kind of thing. But anyway, went ahead that they would, at the end of the video that they were going to do a Bob, the same kind of treatment really for the Bob Dylan back catalogue as they did with the Beatles back catalogue. I was definitely intrigued. So after work on Saturday, I popped into my local uh, W.H. Smith's, which is something I haven't done in a good long while. And by the looks of things, I don't think many people have. It seems to be kind of on its last legs a little bit, W.H. Smith's these days anyway. Well, give it its due, a little bit of a rummage around, a bit of a searching, because I don't know my way around a W.H. Smith's at all. It's been so long since I've really been in them. But after a bit of searching, I found this, I found what I was looking for. Highway 61 Revisited. This is issue number 5. And I'm not too sure in terms of the cover anyway. I'm not too sure what they've kind of gone for with this, whether it's a reproduction of the American original or the UK one or whatever. So if there's any experts out there on Bob Dylan, what kind of version is this? Is this the American one? Is this the UK one? Is it whatever? I had somebody actually say that these are the Italian versions. Well, obviously they've translated the text, into English, or maybe that's the way it appeared in Italy back in the day. I have no idea. But anyway, this is the cover that they've gone for, and they're both good and bad things, really. About, from what I've got of these first 3 records, anyway, that I've got in my collection, is there's good and bad things about them. The good stuff is the records themselves, very good quality. They come in these nice polyline sleeves. The pressing quality is very good. It's, obviously I can't speak for every single issue that's ever been created, but from what I've experienced so far, they get the thumbs up. Very good quality press, French MPO pressing, same as the Beatles records. very quiet, very good audio quality, just generally very good. So definitely get the thumbs up. There was a little quirk with this issue anyway. See how it says mono there on the label? It's actually a stereo record, so I'm not too sure what happened there. But it's a nice little quirk more than anything else. The only thing is I pulled the record out and I got a little bit, a little bit happy at the fact that it said mono. I thought, oh, great, it's a mono version. That's kind of interesting because all the Beatles ones were stereo only. Generally, I'd prefer the mono ones, but they're actually no, they're actually when I played it, it's just like this just doesn't sound very mono-ish to me. This sounds a bit stereo. Yeah, they've got. I'd imagine all of them are going to be stereo, but for some reason it says mono on the label, so it's a little bit of a quirk to them, a little bit different, I guess. Maybe they're just sort of general issues of this magazine, the general reissues of this that are doing the rounds. They're connected with Deagostini. Maybe they're the same. I have no idea. But anyway, generally the quality is very good, so I'm happy with the records, and I do love the albums as well, particularly Highway 61 Revisited. That album really did pull me into becoming I'm more of a Bob Dylan fan now than kind of ever. So it definitely pulled me into the ways of Bob Dylan's music, I guess. So that's the good stuff. The records are good. What's not so good? What's a little bit of a disappointment? Oh, by the way, this is what the records look like. They've got these plastic card sleeves, and they look like this on the shelves. And I've got all the other stuff on the back, information about the records and that. But what's not so good about these issues is the magazines really, or should that be really the lack of the magazine now? This is what they kind of look like really, and it almost looks like the sort of the pamphlets and things that they get you to subscribe. That almost looks like that in terms of the magazines really. It's the same level of quality really, or lack thereof of quality. It's just a single piece of paper really. It's not even it's not a proper magazine, unfortunately, with the bare minimum really of information. And yeah, I think this is one area where they really slipped up. Now I really love posters that come with records, and I would have really liked it if they got this image here, of Bob and Joan together. If they'd just expanded this out to the entire, this entire area of one side, and put all the text on the other side, I think that would have been way better. Instead of this is kind of like it's not really a magazine, it's not really a poster, it's kind of neither of the two really. You can't really say it's both, it's neither. It's sort of a bit of a shame really. They've sort of designed it like this. It's like, I understand financially why they've done it, but why they had to sort of format it in this sort of way. But they have, unfortunately. That's the one downside to really this. The magazine is not really a magazine. It's a bit of a shame. And when it comes to the Beatles, the Deagostini collection, the magazines that come with that were just pamphlets really. They were but they were at least resembled a magazine. This doesn't even resemble anything. It's just a piece of paper really. And if it was just a poster with some information on the back, I'd have been happy with that. And that would have been it. But it they kind of mucked that aspect up. Even they kind of close but no cigar almost. They were almost there. They were almost within reaching distance of doing something pretty good, or at least good under the circumstances. And they kind of just screwed it up really with this, the way it's been formatted really. So that's a bit of a shame. And I suppose the one way you could kind of look at the magazines really with this is that if they would have hired some of the best journalists in the business, music journalists in the business, and maybe got them to interview Bob Dylan even, and get them writing extensive reports on the on the records and the music and Bob Dylan and the history and everything like that at the point in time the record was released, whatever record it happened to be that issue. Obviously, that would have been very expensive to do, and it would have bumped up the price of the issues. So I kind of get, why they did that, why they've done it the way they've done it. But, if it just come with a poster, I just wanted a poster effectively. I just wanted, couldn't even get that bit right. So that's the downside to it really. But the records make up for it really, because the records are pretty nice. And you also get this stuff as well. This is, the I guess the hook to hook you into subscribing. If you go up to the premium package, which at the end of the day is going to cost a lot of cash, you got to have deep pockets for this, because it is about 41 records, I believe, and it is some double records and treble records in there as well. So it's going to be a whole heap of cash, but it's a whole heap of cash, but you're going to get a whole heap of records and a turntable, books and everything. So it's a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of money. But yeah, they're actually putting in a turntable. The only thing is with the turntable, it's a bit confusing me, is that if somebody who's going to go out and buy these things, chances are you've got a turntable already. If you're going to subscribe to a record-based magazine or fake magazine or pretend magazine, whatever, you're probably going to have one of these lying around anyway. It's very unlikely you're not going to have one. But anyway, that's that. And it's got some information on the other issues as well. So yeah, they come very close, I'd say, with the price, because the price is I should really go through them though. It's 15.99 for the single records. It's about £20 a pop for the double records, and it's about 25 for the treble. So it's not a bad price, overall. I think, you probably pay more for like HMV and that kind of thing for these records. So yeah, it's a sort of an affordable way of acquiring these records, but it's not a cheap way either. I suppose if you dig around eBay and record shops and that kind of thing, you probably maybe get them a bit cheaper, but I wouldn't say drastically cheaper. I very much doubt you'd get them much cheaper in terms of new pressing. So all in all, pretty good. So yeah, I bought my first issue, which was issue number 5, Highway 61 Revisited, and that pulled me in. I really do like the album, I like the quality of everything, and I thought, what, I'll pick up another issue, an old issue, and I obviously had to go on eBay for that, or just on the internet to get that, because the shops don't have it anymore. At least none of the shops around here have them anymore. And issue number 1 was this record. It's Times They Are Changing, and the thing is with issue number 1 of these, it's not just the Bob Dylan collection. It was the same with the Beatles one and other issues as well, with other collections that they pour out. I've seen advertised and that kind of thing. They always try and hook you in with the price, to get people involved and interested in it, and to subscribe and that kind of thing. Get a big net out there for people to as big as possible, really, to pull people in. And issue 1 was actually $7.99, which seems $7.99 for a brand new sealed record. That's as good a quality as this. That really is a pretty damn good bargain. Anyway, this is the back. Again, I don't know if this is what the original one had, or the reissue had, or the American or the UK version, or whatever. But this is what they've gone for with the cover of Times They Are Changing. And it's the same sort of label again, red label. And this is stereo again, all of them are stereo, just like the Beatles one, the Beatles collection. And it comes with an insert as well. So yeah, again, they've done very well. Imagine, again, I'm not an expert on Bob Dylan's records, but I'd imagine the original one or some issue of it somewhere along the line came with that cutout sheet, with some text on it. So yeah, that's nice. And the magazine slash poster hybrid thing. This issue again, if they'd made that issue, that a poster, that would have, at least it would have had value to it, But they made it so small with this, covering only half the sheet of paper with the text at the bottom. It's not a real poster in my opinion. I wouldn't hang it on my wall, but maybe I would have if it was, expanded out. So we'll go to the final issue I've got for this video, which is the most recent one, issue number 6, I believe. It's Bringing It All Back Home. And again, any experts out there, tell me what this version is with these photographs. And yeah, I like this album. I like all these albums. They've really kind of given me a new level of appreciation for it. And this has got some really good stuff on it as well. It really has. It's got like a rock side to it and a more folky side. And it's the same label. I won't bother showing the label again. Stereo again, of course. And this is the pamphlet with it. And you know what? The Highway 61 Revisited, it says mono on it. None of the other ones do. I wonder why they did it with that one. They decided to do it with that one. I don't know if any of the earlier issues do it, but anyway. this is the poster that should have been, but wasn't. It's kind of, I would have liked that, just to blown off on a sheet of paper, it would have been, I don't know, repeat myself to a certain degree, but yeah, I just think it's such a shame they decided to do that. Why didn't they just expand it out on the entire sheet? We don't want it. We don't need that. We don't need this. Just have this on the entire sheet of paper without the text. So disappointed. So anyway, that's all three records I've got, and yeah, very happy with them. And the good thing is with buying them, very happy with the records, and not necessarily happy with the whole package, but very happy with the records. And if I kind of do like popping into Smith's, even though it's a bit of a drab shop, and every so often I'm picking these up. And I probably will pick through my favorite, the albums I'm mostly interested in, which is, I suspect, what quite a lot of people are going to do. And the next issue is going to be Blonde on Blonde. That's definitely one I'm going to be getting my hands on. That was the one album that I really was most keen on picking up by Bob Dylan. With it being a legendary sort of double album, seems right up my street. I do love my double album. So yeah, pretty happy with it. It seems like a good collection. The only thing I will say at this point that you've got to bear in mind with them is that Deagostini before the Beatles collection that they did, more than a few years ago now, they put out a jazz collection, a collection of jazz records, vinyl pressings, and it was cut short. It was a collection that they stopped prematurely, because I guess there was just a lack of interest in it. There wasn't enough subscribers, it wasn't financially viable, and it stopped, which is a bit of a shame. I'm not saying that's going to happen with this Bob Dylan collection, but it potentially could happen. So just kind of bear that in mind. And one of the things is that I'd imagine a lot of people will be interested in Blonde on Blonde, and in this record, it's kind of classic albums. But when it gets to the point where it's maybe maybe three or four, maybe five of his kind of lesser albums, the albums that people generally aren't interested in quite so much, if they come out, issue after issue, and the attention really starts to drop away, maybe that's when things might be a bit tricky for them, perhaps. Who knows? Only time will tell again. But yeah, so far I'm very happy with it, and yeah, with the record, and these are fine, I guess, but they are at the same time kind of very disappointing. And yeah, I've kind of shown everything really for these. I need to show anymore. And yeah, keep an eye out for them. I think they're definitely one of the more interesting items really you can find in your local news agents or Tesco's or W.H. Smith's. So we'll move on from Bob Dylan and on to Paul McCartney. One music legend to another, and I managed to get my hands on this. A local, it was a Liverpool-based entertainment, discount shop. Really, I found a copy of this. It was a come and get me price, pretty cheap, brand new sealed, and I couldn't really resist it. Really, Paul McCartney's McCartney III album, and I got this for a couple of reasons. Obviously, I'm still putting together that not Paul McCartney, solo Beatles, collection video. I still slowly but surely acquiring records. Although at this rate, I probably will be 110 by the time I make that video. But there was that. But more importantly, I really am a big fan of McCartney one. I pretty much really like McCartney two as well. Like both of those albums. To a greater or lesser extent, I suppose, but particularly McCartney one. So this was kind of a must pick up really. It just took me a bit of time to kind of finally get around to doing it. And yeah, I like the album. It's got a little bit of I guess it's got a little bit of a feel of the likes of McCartney, from 1970 to McCartney one, with a bit of more than a bit of his more recent music, something like Egypt Station. It's kind of like a mix between McCartney one and Egypt Station, kind of mixed together. And I kind of do like Egypt Station, by the way. The most recent album before this. And yeah, it's kind of like got a mix of that kind of feel. I do need to spend more time with it, but I do kind of think it's pretty good. And I've enjoyed it. I was watching their Paul McCartney The Cavern Club. I believe that's on the iPlayer now at this point in time, and that was really great. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a McCartney, interest kind of picked up recently these past few weeks and months. So that's that, McCartney III. We'll move on from the final thing I'm going to be showing in this video, which is another CD. I picked her up at the same place I got my McCartney III. It's a discount shop in Liverpool. It's the Next Day, and it's, for those who maybe can't tell, this is a David Bowie album. It's like a special edition. If you actually peel away the back here, it says extra. It's the Next Day extras, 3-disc special edition version. I believe this came out a few years after the Next Day album came out, so it's been out for a little while. I found this sealed. It was, I guess, new old stock in this this discount shop. Come and get me price, and I couldn't resist her. It's like you're definitely coming home with me. And I was actually looking for this on eBay, and I just never pulled the trigger and picked her up. And then I saw it there and then, and affordable price. Definitely bought it. It was definitely something I couldn't resist. And I thought this is an opportunity I'm not going to pass by, and I'm very pleased with it. Really, I truly am very pleased with this release. And if you are looking for a copy of The Next Day in terms of getting your hands on a physical copy, this is the way to go. Forget the vinyl issue or whatever. This is the one to get, because this has got some nice extras. It comes with these like little envelopes. This one's tracks written on it, and this is just the album, the standard album on CD. Obviously, all of them are on CD or DVD. And you get this one with extra, with the extra tracks, and the extra tracks on this are definitely well worth checking out. Extra sort of bonus material can be very hit and miss, but with this it's very good. It's a lot of stuff that it's as good as the stuff that was on the album. If you like the album, you like the extra stuff, and it's pretty good. It's got some different mixes and things like that, but it's well worth checking out. The extra stuff on this, I think the extra stuff makes it worth. If it wasn't for if the extra stuff was just a bit crap, but you got all this other bonus stuff, extra stuff, I probably wouldn't have recommended it. It kind of lives or dies effectively with the extra material, and the extra material is worth checking out. I think the only issue with this is that it came out about a year or so after the album came out, and I think most people were kind of through with it, really. They'd either bought a copy or were kind of just not interested enough. So I guess that's maybe why there was so much new old stock hanging around. But yeah, that's why I was able to pick up a copy, years and years after it came out. We got this one called Light, and this is a DVD of the music videos. I haven't seen this yet. This is something I could do with checking out. I'm not too sure if these are on YouTube. I'd imagine they probably are, but I've got them on DVD now as well. And you get some books. You get Language, with the heroes sort of, cover sort of all stretched out or whatever. And this is just the lyrics of the songs. And you get this one called Frame, and this is just some photographs from the music videos and Bowie at the time, I guess. So very nice indeed. And you get this final book, which is the most pointless of them all, really. It says You on it, and it's just a blank book, nothing on it at all. So that's it. Yeah, really nice special edition. Like I said, I highly recommend. If you particularly if you've never bought the album, never listened to the album before, this is the version I would recommend you pick up. Forget the vinyl version, whatever. This is the vinyl version with all this material on it, which I'm not aware of. But the Next Day extra, this is the one to get, and it's pretty affordable price as well. It's pretty cheap. You get your hands on it, like I did. I've seen it on eBay for a fairly affordable price. I don't know if there's been a big, somebody's found a load of old stock in a warehouse somewhere, and they're kind of letting it go. And the discount shop that I went to managed to get the hands on it, on a load of them. But whatever, it's currently out there. And it's on eBay, and I think this is probably your best chance to get your hands on it as cheap as you're probably ever likely to do so, particularly in brand new sealed condition. So I think that'll do for this video. I feel like this video has almost been almost like an advertisement. I've been advertising, The Next Day, and this Deagostini Bob Dylan collection. I almost feel like a, marketing man at this point. Well, yeah, it's stuff that I've really kind of enjoyed recently. I've kind of been happy with, with what I've managed to get my hands on, a lot of new stuff rather than old records from the 70s covered in crackles and pops. It's nice to get stuff in nice nick for a change. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I'd imagine I probably will post a video before Christmas, but if I don't, if it doesn't happen, I get busy. I've got a lot on my plate at the moment, so if I don't get a video published before Christmas, Merry Christmas and all that kind of stuff. Happy New Year. As you can see, I've got my Christmas decorations up, because I'm really enthusiastic about Christmas. It's a part of year that I really love. And yeah, thanks everybody. Goodbye.